Another day, another radical leftist shooting up a place that they don't like. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. And as we have all found out by now, there was a shooting at a Dallas, Texas ice facility, leaving one dead and several others injured. And, well, look at that. Anti-ice. From the Post-Millennial, written by Hannah Nightingale, authorities revealed on Wednesday in a Wednesday morning press conference that rounds found at the scene of the fatal shooting at a Dallas ice facility earlier in the morning contained messages that were anti-ice in nature. One person was killed along with several others injured before the gunman, identified as Joshua John, killed himself. Special Agent in charge FBI Dallas Field Office Joseph Rothrock told reporters, what I can share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from the rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contained messages that were anti-ice in nature.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ice in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable.
And then the FBI director Kash Patel, he put in a tweet, FBI Director Kash Patel said one of the unspent bullet recovered at the scene contained the phrase anti-ice engraved on it. These despicable political motivated acts against law enforcement are not one-off. We are only miles from Prairie Land, Texas, where just 2 months ago an individual ambushed a separate ICE facility targeting their officers. It has to end, and the FBI and our partners will lead these investigative efforts to see that those who targeted our law enforcement are pursued and brought to the fullest extent of justice. And then Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary. These horrendous killings must serve as a wake-up call to the far left. Their rhetoric about ICE has consequences. Comparing ICE day in and day out to the Nazi Gestapo, the secret police, the slave patrols has consequences. The men and women of ICE are fathers, mothers, daughters, and sons. They get up every morning and try to make our community safer, like everyone else. We just want to go home to our families at night. The violence and the dehumanization of these men and women who are simply enforcing the law must stop. We are praying for the victims and their families.
While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack.
So, fortunately, no one from law enforcement was hurt in this, but one person who has yet to be identified has been killed. Donald Trump, he came out on the True Social, and he said, I have been briefed on the deadly shooting at the ICE field office in Dallas, Texas. It has now been revealed that the deranged shooter wrote anti-ice on his shell casings. This is despicable. The brave men and women of ICE are just trying to do their jobs and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. But they are facing an unprecedented increase in threats, violence, and attacks by the deranged radical leftists. The violence is the result of the radical left Democrats consistently demonizing law enforcement and calling for ICE to be demolished, and comparing ICE officers to Nazis. The continuing violence from the radical left terrorists in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination must be stopped. ICE officers and other brave members of law enforcement are under grave threat. We already declared Antifa a terrorist organization, and I will be signing an executive order this week to dismantle these domestic terrorism networks. I am calling on all Democrats to stop this rhetoric against ICE and America's law enforcement right now. The Trump administration is fully committed to backing law enforcement, strong borders, securing our homeland, and deporting violent illegal criminals, and fully rooting out the left-wing domestic terrorism that is terrorizing our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, we can call for it all day long for the left to tone it down. We have seen over and over again. They will continue to ramp this up. They will continue to make things to increase the temperature, and we're waking up each and every single day now of some sort of shooting has happened, whether it's at an ICE facility, at a school. I mean, it is getting worse and worse by the day. As I've said many times, we are staring down the barrel of a civil war. And it's not one of those that it's just going to kick off on this time, on this date. It's something that gradually grows until it is, and then all of a sudden it explodes. Now, I think it was the Battle of Bull Run, the first true battle in the Civil War. People were not expecting what we saw on that day. People were bringing their families out to picnics to watch, to see what happens, only to be horrified by the true violence that war, especially at that time, brings. And I have to question, where are we at right now in this timeline of a potential civil war? Are we already in it? Are we in the bleeding Kansas phase? Where are we at in this? Because it's not going to be long until we are at that phase if the left does not tone down the rhetoric. They need to back down. And if you have any sort of reservations on ICE and what they are doing, they have to be unbelievably strict. And they have to, and there can be no wiggle room like we saw under the Biden administration. Because under the Biden administration, you have people killed, drugs and guns sent over the border, where those drugs would go on to claim lives of teenagers, young adults, taking fentanyl. And a lot of those didn't even know they were taking fentanyl. Some, it was marijuana laced with it. And they were killed. Did Joe Biden or the Biden administration or Alejandro Mayorkas, did he give a damn? No. Nope. See, Joe Biden Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, who we expect to be the 2028 candidate, they will walk over your children's bodies with a smile if it means going to the next level, to getting a promotion, whether it be from governor to president, to House Rep member to senator. They will gladly walk over your dead sons and your dead daughters' bodies to accomplish that goal. And they show it time and time again. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. What's the first thing they do? Oh, it's the gun violence. The gun violence. Oh, it was a Republican that did that. And they still say it to this day. It was a Republican. He came from a Republican family. Don't pay attention to the engravings on the casings or the fact that he had a furry boyfriend. Don't pay any attention to that. And not only will they sit there and lie to you about absolutely every single last thing, they will do it with a smile. Even if it is standing on your throat. Now, when you have open borders, like Joe Biden and Mayorkas was allowing, we have seen the results. Dead women, dead children, drugs, guns. Tom Holman told a story on about his experience working on Border Patrol on the Sean Ryan show. And he was called out to a trailer in the middle of the desert. In that trailer, there were 19 bodies baked to death. One of them containing a 5-year-old child. The coyotes who run these people across the border, something went wrong. They ditched the trailer and left them to die. Had we had a leader that actually gave a damn about the borders, that wouldn't have happened. I mean, you want to know how insane these people are? ICE went in and broke up an operation that had child slave labor. And the left twisted it, saying, oh, you're taking these children away from their homes, from their families. It's bullshit, and they know it. There was child slave labor in this country. And there still is today. Somewhere out there. And hopefully ICE is able to find every last one of them. And be able to rescue these kids. And don't even think for a second that these people that are transporting women and children across the border, they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Not only are they taking an insane amount of money from their families, but they're also taking the women and children and they are selling them off for absolutely heinous acts. Because human trafficking is the biggest business today in the underground world. When you sell a dime bag, you can only sell that once. You can sell a woman, you can sell a child 5 times a day, 7 days a week. Joe Biden, the Democrats, they knew it was happening and they allowed it. And they continue to this very day to try to twist it and be, oh, they're trying to separate the families. Where there is absolutely no proof that those children are with their parents, because more times than not, they are not with who their parents are, who their actual parents. They are with someone who is getting ready to sell them off for heinous acts. But the left will defend that, knowing damn well what it is. Because they don't care. It is the narrative over everything. Yep, here we go. We got, and already, right off the cuff, we have somebody working for Midas Touch, a fake news outlet. I'm not a lawyer, but the head of the FBI literally tweeting pictures of unconfirmed evidence within minutes of a murder seems like the dumbest imaginable. Well, no, it's called transparency. But of course, working with Midas Touch, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Fred? You're advocating for this. Because it is the narrative above all.
Because here's what happens. Because here's what happens when Democrats like Gavin Newsom did say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell, and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
JD is correct. And then you have Gavin Newsom. This is his actual account. I'll show you. Yep, here we go. 40th governor of California. Got the blue check mark. Same damn profile picture. No thanks, JD. I will not be going straight to hell today. Though, when I watch you speak, I can certainly feel like I'm already there. You don't even attack the point. Because they have none. They do not have a point to be made. Because because they know exactly what they're doing, and it is absolute evil. I don't know if this is an attempt for Gavin to be funny. It seems like it is. But one person dead in an ICE facility, it's not a laughing matter. Somebody sniping off people at an ICE facility is not a laughing matter. But here, the governor of California, he's gonna have a little fun. And then more BS on. I mean, let's see what. Let's see if Harry said the right thing. Probably not. Nope, hasn't tweeted anything. I wonder if he said something stupid on TikTok, because that's a long time for someone like that. Let's see what. Let's see if. Oh, JoJo said something right. Let's see. Nope, nothing there. And again, we're deflecting because Joe doesn't know how to talk. Making fun of stopping a target that could potentially lead to a death. That's something. Of course. Um, but yeah. And, oh, breaking news! Trump demands investigation for the events surrounding the UN speech, which I go into that in a video that's coming out later tonight. And we'll be doing more. Let's see if Brooklyn Dad decided to say something correct. Oh, he doesn't pop up anymore. Was it like Pat? There he is. There's a stupid SOB. Let's see. Nope. Nope, more Comey stuff, which I'll talk about that at another time. Don't care about him. I don't care if you try it. Oh, okay. Here we go. I don't care if you try to call ICE agents law enforcement in an attempt to legitimize them. If they're hiding behind masks, if they're not identifying themselves, right there, where it says police on the chest. If they're grabbing people off the streets, if they're disappearing people, they're taking them to an ICE facility. But again, you have to lie in order to extend your narrative. It's not law enforcement. They are Gestapo. So, yeah. And this was after the shooting. It was 2 hours ago, as of almost 6 o'clock. So, yep, we're blaming ICE for the ICE shooting. Because these pieces of crap have nothing to stand on. And so, yeah, we got so yeah, there will be no rhetoric toning down of the left. We're already seeing it in motion. So we'll see what happens in the morning. Hopefully nobody gets killed from the political violence that is perpetrated by the left. But my hope for that wanes more and more each and every time this happens. I'm Dylan Hilder. This is the Dylan Hilder Show. We'll be back later on tonight with a longer video talking about many other topics. And we'll be back tomorrow with some actual sports. So, we'll see you.